the last two videos, we have done a ton of work on the mega base, particularly on the ceiling, where we have done basically 2/3 of it. But I kind of want to take a little break from working on the mega base and, kind of do some other building, maybe even a farm. And the thing that I want to work on is actually my nether tunnel leading to my main portal, not the industrial district portal, because that is long. So I want to do this one, and I've already carved out / built the tunnel space required for the design I have in mind. But I need copper, and I have literally 0 copper. And I don't believe anyone in the shopping district actually sells copper blocks of any kind. So maybe what we do is build up a copper farm, because we haven't built a farm in a while. I don't know what that is. Very odd building. It's just wool, 4 colors, and there's seemingly no entrance. There seems to be no copper being sold in the shopping district, so I think a copper farm and maybe even a copper shop is in order for today's build. That means we need to build a farm to get all the copper we need. And I found a great farm that's based off of Nembomb's copper farm, but is edited by Crimulus on YouTube, and there'll be a link in the description for his video and channel, because it is actually a very compact farm and it works very, very well. And I want to build it somewhere up here because it needs to be high enough, because it uses the mechanic of turning zombies into drowned by drowning them, obviously. But there's a cool mechanic that when a zombie is hurt, there's a small chance that it will call in reinforcements and spawn new zombies in the area before it turns into a drown, which is kind of the same principle as shulker farms are now, where I think a shulker is hurt or killed and it spawns another one, something like that. So it's based off the same principle, and it just needs to be high enough to disallow other mobs spawning underneath me or stuff like that. But I have absolutely no materials. Absolutely nothing. So we need to get the materials, and I will go ahead and do that real quick, and I'll come right back. Well, now that I have all of the materials collected right in here to build this sucker, I think it's time for a mini time lapse, because it's not that big, but it'll take me a little bit to get all of the nuanced stuff built. So let's get right into the build, and after the time lapse, it will be built right behind me. Let's go. And just like that, the farm is done. Now there's a couple notes I want to make about this farm. And firstly is, how do you get snow golems into their slots here? Well, I'll do an example. So every one of these slots has 3 snow golems. I hope there's 3 in each of them at least. Might be less. I have a bit of incidences with mobs, but all you do is place your snow, place your carp pumpkin, and they fall right in. Some of them, like these, like anyone's but the edges, the snow golem will land on whatever trap door you put here. You just get on this side and just give them a little nudge and they fall right in. So it is probably one of the easiest mob placement things I've ever had to do for a farm. And that's including villagers and rails. Another thing is how do I get zombies originally into the farm? Because if we go in here, this is not spawnable for any mob in general. This has zero spawnability in here for any type of mob. And I just kind of came up with this, just literally a spawning platform and then a little AFK platform up there. And I used the dark glass, it's what I had. And it allows me to see through to see what spawns. And if even a single zombie spawns on that platform, I rush down here, make sure nothing else spawns with it, and if they do, kill that first with a bow, like underneath the glass or something. And I come in here, break a designated slab to get the zombie directly into the water so that they immediately go through, and then the snow golems do their job and slap the zombies around. And I have AFK'd for maybe 4-ish hours, and I've gotten a lot of copper. Like an insane amount of copper. It's crazy. Now the only thing I need to do is get a new sword, because this has sharpness instead of smite. I need a smite sword for this to make it easier, and I might just leave it here on a item frame. I think Crimulus puts one on his world right there. But I think it makes more sense to put it there. Otherwise, you gotta weirdly press there to get it. And hopefully you don't knock it off. And you just sit here and swipe away. However, there is one caveat you need to be aware of when swiping here with a sword. Is if you do not eat, you will starve to death. And I actually starved to death in the game at this farm, and I died, and all of my stuff was everywhere. I completely forgot that you also have to, when you swipe, to also make sure you are holding the the use button, the right click button. That's what it is. And I use an auto clicker, so auto attack, and then what is it? Auto hold. So auto attack, periodic attack, and auto hold from Tweakaroo to just sit here and manually AFK. And I just need to make sure I turn on eating. Well, now that I have all this copper, I need... Oh, come on. I hate the rain. The worst. But now that I have the copper, I do need to weather it. Which is just such a long process. Because I need basically all the weather types for the Nether tunnel, and it's going to take a long time. So I need to figure out kind of the fastest way of getting weathered copper that doesn't take me sitting for 12 years to do it. I'll need to AFK, and then I'll come back in the Nether tunnel with the materials. And after a little bit of work, I was able to get all of the materials, including all of the copper that I need. Now, I think this will look pretty good, so let's just go right into the time lapse and get right into building. And just like that, the Nether tunnel is done. And I think it looks pretty good. I like the copper and dark prismarine combo. Well, what is that? I think that's fully weathered copper, right? Oxidized, that's what it is. Oxidized copper. That looks really good with dark prismarine. And I think with the sea lanterns and the soul lanterns, they kind of go well together. Even though the soul lanterns are more just for decorations because they don't really provide that much light. It's mostly the sea lanterns that are doing that. But I love how it turned out on the nether brick fences and then the smooth, polished deep slate in the back. add a little depth to the build. It looks really good. Well, I think after building the Nether tunnel, we have done quite a bit of work in both the Industrial District and the Nether. So I think we'll call the video here. Hope you all enjoyed. Make sure to like, subscribe, do all that YouTube stuff, and I shall see you all next time. Goodbye.